The galaxy in danger. The galaxy was in a state of panic. For years, different alien races had been fighting an endless and devastating war. The conflict had spread across countless star systems, leaving planets in ruins and civilizations on the brink of collapse. The once vibrant galaxy was now a dark, chaotic place where peace seemed like a distant memory. The Galactic Council, a group of the most powerful and influential beings in the galaxy, was desperate. They had tried everything to stop the war, but nothing worked. The factions involved were too powerful, too entrenched in their hatred for each other. The Council knew that if the fighting continued, the entire galaxy could be destroyed. In their darkest hour, the Council made a bold decision. They sent out a desperate call for help. They reached out to every known race, every advanced civilization, begging for assistance. They promised whatever help they could offer in return: resources, technology, and even political power. But their pleas were met with silence. The advanced species of the galaxy, who had once been the pinnacle of technology and power, were now too afraid to act. They had seen the scale of the conflict and the destruction it had caused. Their own planets were safe, but they feared the unknown. They worried that getting involved might draw the conflict to their own doorsteps. So, they turned their backs on the Galactic Council's request. As weeks turned into months, the situation grew worse. The war raged on with no end in sight. Planets were bombarded and entire star systems were left in ruins. Refugees fled from the war zones, but there was nowhere safe to go. The galaxy was teetering on the brink of complete collapse. Amidst this backdrop of despair, the Council's call for help continued to echo through the galaxy. They had hoped for a miracle, a savior who could turn the tide. But with each passing day, the hope of finding a solution seemed to dwindle. Then, a small and seemingly insignificant signal reached the Council. It was from a human settlement on the edge of the galaxy. Humans were seen as a primitive species by many, their technology outdated compared to the advanced races. They had a reputation for being weak and cowardly, often dismissed as having little to contribute in a galactic crisis. The Galactic Council was hesitant, but desperate. They decided to at least listen to what the humans had to say. Representatives from the human settlement arrived at the council chambers, carrying only basic technology and a small, weary delegation. They looked nothing like the mighty forces the council had hoped for, and their arrival did little to lift the council's spirits. The human spokesperson, a calm and determined woman named Captain Elise, stepped forward. She addressed the council with a mix of respect and confidence. "We understand the situation is dire," she began. "We know that we are not the most powerful or advanced species in the galaxy, but we believe we have a plan that might help." The council members exchanged skeptical glances. They had heard countless proposals before, most of which had proven to be nothing more than empty promises. But with no other options, they decided to hear the humans out. Captain Elise and her team explained their plan, which seemed simple compared to the grand schemes of the galaxy's most powerful races. The plan involved using old technology in a new way. The humans had developed methods to repurpose their outdated equipment, turning it into something unexpectedly effective. They had a series of tactical maneuvers and strategies that, while rudimentary compared to the advanced alien tech, had shown promise in their own small conflicts. The council listened with a mix of curiosity and doubt. They couldn't see how such basic technology could make a difference in a galactic war. Yet the humans were insistent. They believed that their strategy could exploit the weaknesses of the alien factions in ways that the advanced races had overlooked. As the meeting ended, the council was left with a choice: ignore the humans and continue with their hopeless situation, or take a chance on a plan that seemed improbable but offered a glimmer of hope. In the end, the council decided to give the humans a chance. They were out of options and could not afford to reject any potential help. The human team was given a small area to operate, and their plan was put into action. Little did anyone know, this decision would lead to an unexpected turn of events. The galaxy's most feared and advanced races would soon witness something they had never anticipated: a group of so-called cowardly humans stepping up to change the course of history. The galaxy was still in peril, and hope was scarce. But as the human plan began to unfold, the first signs of change began to appear. The council watched with bated breath, wondering if these underestimated humans could indeed make a difference in a war that had seemed unwinnable. The cowardly humans. The small human settlement on the edge of the galaxy was far from impressive. Nestled on a remote planet, it was a place most advanced races would never have given a second glance. The humans living there were seen as a relic of a bygone era, their technology outdated and their military capabilities minimal compared to the galaxy's more powerful factions. The humans were aware of their reputation. They knew that many viewed them as weak and insignificant. This perception had shaped how they saw themselves and how others saw them. But despite this, they were determined to prove their worth. In the heart of the settlement, a community meeting was underway. Captain Elise and her team were ready to share their plan with the local leaders. The room was filled with a mix of excitement and skepticism. Many of the settlers were used to being ignored and underestimated, and now they were about to step up in a way they had never imagined. Captain Elise stood at the front of the room, her voice steady as she addressed the gathered crowd. "We have been given a chance to help the galaxy in this time of crisis. I know many of you have doubts. We are not the most powerful or advanced, but we have something valuable to offer." The room was filled with murmurs of doubt. One of the settlers, a grizzled veteran named Marcus, raised his hand. "Captain, are you sure about this? We don't have the advanced technology or the firepower that the others have. Why would anyone listen to us?" Elise nodded, acknowledging the concern. "I understand your worries, but that's exactly why our plan might work. We're using our old technology in ways that no one else has thought of. Sometimes it's not about having the most advanced tools, it's about using what you have in a clever way." Another settler, a young engineer named Lara, spoke up. "How do you expect our old equipment to make any difference? The galactic war is huge. Our technology is outdated." Elise smiled. "Our plan is based on simplicity. We're not trying to outmatch the advanced races in technology. Instead, we're going to use our equipment to create unexpected results. The enemy won't see it coming." The settlers listened intently, their doubts slowly giving way to curiosity. The idea of using outdated technology in a new way was unconventional, but there was something about Elise's confidence that made them listen. The plan involved setting up a series of defensive positions and traps using their old tech, designed to exploit the weaknesses of the enemy forces. As the days went by, the humans worked tirelessly. They set up makeshift command centers, repurposed old weapons, and trained their volunteers. The process was slow and laborious, but their determination was palpable. They knew they were up against a formidable enemy, but they were committed to giving their best effort. The advanced races continued to watch from the sidelines, their initial skepticism turning into a kind of quiet amusement. They didn't expect much from the humans and were content to let them try their plan. They had their own advanced technology and strategies, and they were not worried about the outcome. The human settlement became a hive of activity. Everyone, from the youngest child to the oldest elder, pitched in to support the effort. They knew that their chances were slim, but they were driven by a sense of purpose and unity. They had been underestimated for too long and were determined to prove their worth. One evening, as the sun set over the barren landscape of the settlement, Captain Elise gathered her team for a final briefing. "Tonight we begin. Remember, the key is to stay focused and adapt. We may not have the latest technology, but we have ingenuity and courage. That's what will make the difference." The team nodded, their faces a mix of nerves and resolve. They knew that what they were about to do was risky, but they were ready to face the challenge. The settlement was a small beacon of hope in the galaxy, and they were about to show that even the most underestimated species could make a big impact. As night fell, the humans put their plan into action. They deployed their old equipment and set up their traps. The advanced races continued to watch with a mix of curiosity and amusement, expecting the plan to fail. But as the humans executed their strategy, something unexpected happened. The enemy forces, who had grown complacent, were caught off guard. The traps and defenses set up by the humans started to have an effect. The advanced races began to take notice of the results. What they had dismissed as a futile effort was now showing signs of success. The galaxy watched in amazement as the cowardly humans began to turn the tide of the conflict. The advanced races were forced to reconsider their view of the humans. They had underestimated their capabilities, and now they were witnessing something truly remarkable. Captain Elise and her team were proving that even those who seemed weak and insignificant could make a powerful impact. The humans, once seen as a relic of the past, were now stepping up in a way that was changing the course of galactic history. The bold plan. The sun rose over the small human settlement, casting long shadows over the makeshift command centers that had been set up in preparation for the upcoming conflict. Captain Elise and her team were ready to put their plan into action, a plan that had been developed with great care and determination. Despite their limited resources, the humans were determined to show that they could make a difference in the galactic war. The plan was unconventional and relied on using old technology in clever ways. While the advanced races of the galaxy had dismissed their technology as outdated, the humans believed that their approach could exploit the weaknesses of the enemy forces. They had designed a series of traps and defensive positions that would surprise and confuse the enemy, hoping to turn the tide of the conflict in their favor. As the team gathered for a final briefing, the mood was a mix of excitement and nerves. The members of the team were a diverse group, each bringing their own skills and experiences to the table. There was Marcus, the grizzled veteran who had seen more battles than he cared to remember. Laura, the young engineer with a knack for repurposing old equipment, and several others who had come together to support the effort. Captain Elise addressed the team with a steady voice. "We've worked hard to prepare for this moment. Our plan might seem simple compared to the advanced technology of our enemies, but it's designed to create confusion and take advantage of their weaknesses. Remember, the key is to stay adaptable and respond quickly to any changes." The team nodded in agreement, their faces set with determination. They knew that the success of their plan depended on their ability to execute it flawlessly. The enemy forces were formidable, but the humans had something that the advanced races did not: a willingness to think outside the box and take risks. The first phase of the plan involved setting up a series of decoy installations. These were designed to look like advanced defensive positions, but they were actually just old equipment arranged in a way that would mislead the enemy. The idea was to draw the enemy's attention away from the real traps and defensive positions that had been carefully hidden. As the decoy installations were being set up, Captain Elise and her team worked on the second phase of the plan. They used their old technology to create a network of communication jammers that would disrupt the enemy's signals. This would prevent the enemy from coordinating their attacks and make it harder for them to respond to the humans' moves. The final phase involved deploying the actual traps and defensive positions. These were designed to be activated remotely, allowing the humans to control when and how they would be used. The traps were designed to be simple but effective, using old equipment in ways that the enemy would not expect. As night fell, the humans completed their preparations. The settlement was a flurry of activity, with team members making final adjustments and ensuring that everything was in place. Captain Elise took a moment to review the plan one last time before giving the order to begin. The first part of the plan went into action. The decoy installations were activated, drawing the enemy's attention and causing them to concentrate their forces on what they believed were key positions. The advanced races watched from their command centers, intrigued by the humans' efforts, but still skeptical about their chances of success. Meanwhile, the communication jammers began to disrupt the enemy's signals. The once coordinated enemy forces were now struggling to communicate with each other, leading to confusion and disarray. The humans watched with bated breath as their plan unfolded. As expected, the enemy forces were drawn to the decoy installations. They launched attacks against these positions, believing they were attacking crucial defensive points. But as they did, they failed to notice the real traps and defensive positions that were hidden nearby. When the time was right, Captain Elise gave the signal to activate the traps. The old equipment sprang into action, catching the enemy by surprise. The traps worked perfectly, creating obstacles and causing chaos among the enemy forces. The once confident enemy troops were now scrambling to deal with the unexpected challenges. The humans continued to adapt their strategy as the situation developed. They used their knowledge of the enemy's tactics to stay one step ahead, making adjustments to their plan as needed. The advanced races watching from a distance began to see that the humans' efforts were not just a desperate attempt, but a clever and effective strategy. As the night wore on, the tide of the conflict began to shift. The enemy forces, now disorganized and confused, were struggling to regain control. The humans' traps and defensive positions had created a significant advantage, and the once unimaginable idea of using old technology to fight a galactic war was proving to be successful. Captain Elise and her team watched with a mix of pride and relief as their plan unfolded. They had faced many doubts and challenges, but their determination and creativity had paid off. The humans, once seen as cowardly and insignificant, were now making a real impact on the galactic stage. By the time the sun rose again, the first phase of the humans' plan had been a success. The enemy forces had been thrown into disarray, and the advanced races had been forced to reevaluate their view of the humans. The battle was far from over, but the humans had proven that they could make a difference with their bold and innovative approach. As the day began, Captain Elise gathered her team once more. "We've shown that our plan can work, but this is just the beginning. We need to stay focused and keep pushing forward. We've proven that even with limited resources, we can achieve great things." The team nodded in agreement, ready to continue their fight. The galaxy was still in danger, but the humans had taken a significant step toward changing the course of the conflict. Their bold plan had shown that even those who seemed weak could have a powerful impact on the galaxy's fate. The plan in action. The first light of dawn revealed a battlefield unlike any other. The previously bustling human settlement had transformed into a hive of tense activity. Captain Elise and her team were already hard at work, making final adjustments and preparing for the next phase of their bold plan. The night had gone as planned. The decoys had drawn the enemy's focus, and the traps had caused chaos among their ranks. But now, the humans needed to capitalize on their initial success and maintain their momentum. The real test was whether they could keep the enemy off balance and push their advantage. Captain Elise gathered her team for a quick briefing. "We've made a good start, but now we need to stay sharp. The enemy will regroup and try to adapt. Our job is to keep them guessing and make sure they can't recover from the disruption we've caused." The team nodded, their faces set with determination. Each member knew their role and was ready to execute the next steps of the plan. The first objective was to launch a series of surprise attacks using the repurposed old equipment. The goal was to hit the enemy where they least expected it and create further confusion. Marcus, the seasoned veteran, took charge of the surprise attacks. He and his team moved out under the cover of early morning mist, positioning themselves in key locations around the enemy's camp. The old equipment, though not advanced, was well suited for the task. With precise timing and coordination, they would launch their attacks to maximize the impact. Lara, the young engineer, was busy overseeing the deployment of the remote-controlled traps. She worked tirelessly to ensure that each trap was set correctly and ready to be triggered at the right moment. Her expertise in repurposing old technology was crucial in making the traps effective. As the sun climbed higher, the first wave of surprise attacks began. The enemy forces, still reeling from the previous night's confusion, were caught off guard once again. Explosions and flashes of light erupted from unexpected places, causing panic and disarray. The advanced races, watching from their command centers, were beginning to realize that the humans' plan was not just a fluke. In the midst of the chaos, Captain Elise kept a close watch on the battlefield. She used a series of old communication devices to coordinate with her team and monitor the enemy's movements. The disruption had forced the enemy to spread their forces thin, making them more vulnerable to further attacks. The enemy commanders, frustrated and bewildered, tried to regain control of the situation. They issued orders to regroup and consolidate their positions, but the confusion and damage caused by the humans' traps made it difficult to execute these commands effectively. The enemy's once imposing advantage was now being chipped away. Captain Elise and her team pressed their advantage. They continued to launch attacks and activate traps, ensuring that the enemy remained off balance. The advanced races, who had initially underestimated the humans, were now beginning to see the effectiveness of their strategy. What had seemed like a desperate gamble was proving to be a game changer. Despite their success, the humans knew that they couldn't rest on their laurels. The enemy forces were resilient and would eventually adapt. The goal was to keep up the pressure and exploit every opportunity to disrupt their operations. As the day wore on, the humans maintained their relentless pace. The enemy, now thoroughly disoriented, struggled to mount an effective response. The battlefield was a chaotic mess of confusion, with the advanced races realizing that their initial dismissal of the humans had been a grave mistake. In the midst of the action, a small group of enemy soldiers managed to breach one of the human defensive positions. Marcus and his team quickly responded, using their old equipment in unexpected ways to repel the intruders. The soldiers, accustomed to facing more advanced defenses, were unprepared for the creativity and ingenuity of the humans' tactics. By the afternoon, the tide of battle had clearly shifted. The enemy forces were disorganized and struggling to maintain control. The advanced races, who had been watching from a distance, began to reconsider their view of the humans. The once dismissed species was now demonstrating that they could indeed make a significant impact. Captain Elise took a moment to review the situation. Her team had executed the plan with skill and precision. The traps and attacks had caused considerable disruption, and the enemy forces were in a state of confusion. The initial success was promising, but there was still much work to be done. As the sun set, the humans continued their efforts. They adjusted their tactics based on the evolving situation, ensuring that they remained one step ahead of the enemy. The advanced races were now watching with a mix of respect and disbelief. The humans had shown that they were not just a weak and insignificant species, but a force to be reckoned with. The day ended with the battlefield still in turmoil. The humans had proven their point, but the conflict was far from over. The advanced races had witnessed the effectiveness of the humans' plan, and the galaxy's perception of them was beginning to change. Captain Elise and her team gathered for a brief moment of respite. They were exhausted but satisfied with their progress. They had faced numerous challenges and doubts, but their bold plan had demonstrated that even with limited resources, they could make a difference. "Great work today, everyone," Elise said, her voice filled with pride. "We've shown that we can have an impact, but we need to keep pushing forward. The enemy will regroup, and we must be ready for whatever comes next." The team nodded in agreement, ready to face the next phase of their mission. The galaxy was still in peril, but the humans had taken a crucial step in changing the course of the conflict. Their bold plan was proving that even the most underestimated species could have a powerful influence on the galaxy's fate, winning the battle. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a fiery glow over the chaotic battlefield. The earlier confusion and disarray among the enemy forces had given way to a fierce struggle. The humans, despite their outdated technology and initial doubts, were now at the forefront of a battle that had shifted in their favor. The tide was turning, and victory was within reach. Captain Elise and her team, weary but determined, were still hard at work. The day's successes had given them hope, but they knew that the battle was far from over. The enemy, though disoriented, was regrouping and trying to mount a counterattack. The humans had to remain vigilant and keep pushing forward. Elise stood with her team, watching as the enemy forces attempted to reorganize. "We've done well so far," she said, her voice steady, "but we can't afford to relax. They're going to fight back hard. We need to stay sharp and continue with our plan." Marcus, the veteran, checked his old weapons one last time. "We've made a real impact, but they'll be expecting more from us now. Let's keep up the pressure and make sure they know they're not going to win easily." The humans had set up a series of traps and defensive positions that had worked remarkably well. The advanced races, who had been watching from a distance, were now fully engaged in the battle. They were impressed by the effectiveness of the humans' strategy and were beginning to realize that their initial dismissal had been a mistake. Lara, the young engineer, was busy coordinating the deployment of additional traps. "We need to keep their forces scattered," she said, her fingers flying over the controls. "If we can keep them off balance, they won't be able to regroup effectively." As the night progressed, the enemy forces launched their counterattacks. The humans responded with a combination of old-fashioned tactics and clever improvisation. The battlefield was a mix of chaos and determination, with the humans fighting with everything they had. The advanced races were now actively involved, trying to turn the tide in favor of their forces. They deployed their advanced technology and strategies, but the humans' traps and defensive positions continued to cause problems. The once dismissed species was now proving to be a formidable opponent. Captain Elise and her team worked tirelessly to adapt to the changing situation. They used their knowledge of the battlefield to stay ahead of the enemy's moves. The humans' unconventional tactics were proving to be effective against the advanced technology of their adversaries. In the midst of the battle, a breakthrough occurred. The humans managed to capture an enemy command center, gaining valuable intelligence about their opponent's plans. The information was quickly relayed to Captain Elise, who used it to adjust their strategy. "We've got their playbook," Elise said with a determined smile. "Now we can anticipate their moves and stay one step ahead." The captured intelligence revealed the enemy's plans for a major offensive. The humans quickly prepared to counter the attack, setting up additional defenses and deploying their forces strategically. The advanced races, unaware of the humans' newfound advantage, continued their efforts to push back. As the enemy launched their major offensive, the humans were ready. The defensive positions, reinforced with the captured intelligence, held firm against the assault. The enemy forces were met with a wall of resistance that they hadn't anticipated. The battle raged on, but the tide had clearly turned. The humans, with their bold plan and relentless determination, were now on the offensive. The advanced races, watching in disbelief, could see that the humans were not only holding their ground, but pushing back effectively. In the final hours of the battle, the humans launched a series of coordinated attacks that overwhelmed the enemy forces. The advanced races, who had initially underestimated the humans, were now forced to acknowledge their skill and resilience. Captain Elise and her team pressed their advantage, coordinating their efforts with precision. The enemy forces, battered and disheartened, began to retreat. The once confident advanced races were now on the defensive, struggling to salvage their position. As the first light of dawn broke, the battlefield was a testament to the humans' victory. The enemy forces, defeated and scattered, were retreating in disarray. The humans had achieved what many had thought impossible. They had won the battle against a far superior foe. Captain Elise and her team gathered to assess the aftermath. They were exhausted but elated, knowing that their efforts had made a significant impact. The advanced races, who had watched the battle unfold, were now grappling with the reality of the humans' capabilities. "You did it," Marcus said, his voice filled with pride. "We turned the tide and showed them what we're capable of." Lara nodded, her face glowing with satisfaction. "It wasn't easy, but we proved that even with old technology, we could make a difference." Captain Elise took a deep breath, looking out over the battlefield. "We've achieved something remarkable, but this is just one battle in a larger conflict. We need to be ready for whatever comes next." The humans had shown that they were not just survivors, but fighters with the ability to make a real impact. Their victory had changed the course of the conflict and forced the galaxy to reconsider its view of them. The once dismissed species had proven that they were a force to be reckoned with. As the team prepared for the next phase of their mission, they knew that the road ahead would be challenging. But they had achieved something extraordinary and were ready to face whatever lay ahead with the same determination and ingenuity that had brought them this far. Gaining respect. The dust of the recent battle was still settling, and the once chaotic battlefield was now a testament to the humans' unexpected triumph. The advanced races, who had been so confident in their superiority, were now forced to reassess their views. The humans had not only won the battle, but had done so in a way that left a lasting impression on their enemies. Captain Elise and her team were taking a moment to catch their breath. The victory was significant, but they knew that earning respect would require more than just a single victory. The advanced races were regrouping and analyzing their defeat, and the humans needed to be prepared for the next steps. Elise gathered her team for a debriefing. "We've made a strong statement with this victory," she said, "but respect is earned over time. We need to show that we're not just a one-time success, but a reliable force." Marcus, the veteran, nodded. The battle was just the beginning. We need to keep proving ourselves and show that we can be trusted allies and formidable opponents. Lara, the young engineer, was busy analyzing the data from the battle. We've got their attention now. They're taking us seriously, but we need to maintain our edge. If we let up now, we might lose the respect we've gained. The advanced races, stunned by the humans' performance, were now sending emissaries to discuss the terms of future engagements. The humans had made a significant impact, and their actions were prompting a re-evaluation of their role in the galaxy. One of the first emissaries to arrive was a representative from the Galactic Council, a group that had previously dismissed the humans as insignificant. The representative, a tall figure with a stern expression, was met by Captain Elise and her team. "Captain Elise," the emissary said, "I must admit your performance in the recent battle has been impressive. The Galactic Council wishes to understand more about your people and how you achieved such success." Elise met the emissary's gaze with a steady look. "We're ready to discuss our methods and strategies. We've always believed that our determination and ingenuity are our greatest assets." The discussion that followed was one of the most critical moments in the humans' journey. The emissary listened intently as Elise and her team explained their tactics and strategies. The advanced races were beginning to recognize that the humans had more to offer than they had initially thought. The representative from the Galactic Council expressed a mixture of respect and curiosity. "Your approach was unconventional but effective. It's clear that you've earned a place at the table. We would like to explore the possibility of future collaborations and alliances." The humans were cautious but optimistic. They knew that gaining respect was not just about proving their capabilities, but also about building lasting relationships. The emissary's offer was a step in the right direction, and the humans were prepared to navigate this new phase care. In the days that followed, the humans continued to engage with the advanced races. They attended meetings, shared their experiences, and demonstrated their commitment to collaboration. The once dismissed species was now seen as a valuable partner in the galaxy. Captain Elise and her team worked hard to ensure that their newfound respect was well-deserved. They participated in joint exercises, shared their technological advancements, and contributed to the planning of future operations. Their efforts were aimed at building trust and demonstrating their reliability. The advanced races, who had previously viewed the humans with skepticism, were now beginning to see them in a new light. The humans' dedication and effectiveness in battle had earned them a place among the galaxy's prominent players. The respect they had gained was a testament to their resilience and ingenuity. One evening, as the team relaxed after a long day, Marcus shared his thoughts. "We've come a long way from being underestimated. It feels good to see that others are recognizing what we're capable of." Lara, still working on her latest project, looked up and smiled. "It's been a challenging journey, but it's worth it. We're showing that we have something valuable to offer, and that's making a difference." Elise nodded in agreement. "Respect is not just about what we've done, but also about how we continue to act. We need to stay focused, work hard, and prove that we're worthy of the trust we've gained." The humans' journey was far from over. They had made significant strides in gaining respect, but the galaxy was a complex and ever-changing place. The advanced races would continue to test their capabilities, and the humans needed to be ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. As the team prepared for the next phase of their mission, they knew that their actions would continue to shape their reputation. The respect they had earned was a reflection of their hard work, determination, and ability to adapt. They were no longer seen as a weak and insignificant species, but as a powerful force with a meaningful role in the galaxy. The humans had shown that they were more than just survivors. They were contributors, allies, and a force that demanded recognition. Their journey had just begun, and they were ready to face the future with the same courage and ingenuity that had brought them this far. A new beginning. The skies above the galactic capital were clearer now, their vast expanse a symbol of the new phase that was beginning. The battlefield, once filled with chaos and uncertainty, had become a place of reflection and hope. The humans, having earned respect and established their place, were now on the cusp of a new chapter in their journey. Captain Elise and her team had been busy preparing for the upcoming diplomatic summit. This summit was a crucial step in solidifying their new role and forging lasting alliances. The advanced races, once skeptical, were now eager to work with the humans, recognizing their value and contributions. Elise gathered her team in the briefing room. This summit is our chance to build strong relationships and set the stage for future collaborations. We've proven ourselves in battle, but now we need to show that we can be reliable partners. Marcus, the veteran, adjusted his uniform with a determined look. We've come a long way, but we need to keep our focus. The summit is an opportunity to cement our position and show that we're more than just warriors. Lara, the young engineer, was busy preparing materials for the summit. We've made a great impact, but now it's about how we handle this new phase. We need to be ready to discuss our ideas and work towards common goals. The day of the summit arrived, and the humans were greeted by representatives from various advanced races. The atmosphere was a mix of formality and curiosity. The humans, dressed in their best attire and carrying a sense of purpose, were ready to make a strong impression. The summit hall was filled with delegates from different factions, each eager to understand and engage with the new players on the galactic stage. Captain Elise took her place at the front, ready to address the assembly. "Ladies and gentlemen," Elise began, her voice steady and clear, "we stand here today not just as survivors, but as partners. Our recent victory was not just about winning a battle, but about proving that we have something valuable to offer." The representatives listened attentively as Elise spoke about the humans' strengths, their experiences, and their vision for the future. The advanced races were impressed by the humans' sincerity and their willingness to collaborate. The discussions at the summit were productive and focused. The humans shared their technological advancements, their strategies for future conflicts, and their ideas for joint projects. The advanced races, in turn, offered their expertise and resources, eager to explore opportunities for mutual benefit. One of the key agreements made at the summit was the establishment of a joint task force. This task force would include representatives from various races, working together on projects and missions that would benefit all parties involved. The humans were given a significant role in this new collaboration, a testament to their newfound respect and influence. Captain Elise and her team were pleased with the outcomes of the summit. They had successfully communicated their value and had laid the groundwork for a productive partnership. The advanced races were no longer just allies, but genuine partners in a shared vision for the galaxy. As the summit concluded, Elise took a moment to reflect on the journey. "We've come from being underestimated to becoming key players in the galaxy. This summit was a crucial step in solidifying our new role." Marcus, looking out over the hall, added, "We've proven that we can make a difference, but now it's about maintaining that momentum and continuing to build on our successes." Lara, finishing up her notes, smiled. "It's exciting to think about the possibilities. We have a chance to work with some of the best minds in the galaxy and make a real impact." With the summit behind them, the humans began to focus on their new responsibilities. The joint task force was established and the first projects were underway. The humans were involved in various initiatives, from technological development to strategic planning. The advanced races were learning more about the humans and their unique perspectives. The collaboration was bringing new ideas and solutions to light, and the shared efforts were proving to be productive and innovative. Captain Elise and her team continued to work diligently, staying true to their mission and values. They knew that this new beginning was just the start of a much larger journey. The respect and partnerships they had built were now the foundation for future successes and challenges. As they moved forward, the humans embraced their role with enthusiasm and dedication. They had proven their worth, but they also knew that their journey was ongoing. The galaxy was a vast and complex place, and there was much more to learn and achieve. In the quiet moments of reflection, Elise thought about the long road that had led them to this point. "We've made incredible progress, but there's always more to do. Our new beginning is a chance to continue growing and contributing." Marcus, standing beside her, nodded. "It's a new chapter for us. We've earned our place, and now we need to build on it and make the most of every opportunity." Lara, looking ahead, added, "We've shown that we can face challenges and succeed. Now it's time to take that success and use it to shape the future." The humans had arrived at a new beginning, one filled with promise and potential. Their journey had transformed them from underdogs to respected partners, and they were ready to embrace the opportunities that lay ahead. With determination and unity, they looked forward to a future where they would continue to make a meaningful impact on the galaxy.